OWASP is short for Open Web Application Security Project. It's really a collaboration of volunteers in the security industry to come up with interesting tools, documentation, research to help the web application security industry along. The types of tools that are released help secure websites. The types of documentation released help identify certain types of attacks, actually catalog them so people are more aware of these types of attacks. Right now, web applications are everywhere. Banking sites have them, and they're very customized. Retail sites have them, again, very customized. And each of these applications is different, and they also have unique vulnerabilities in each of them. And so what OWASP was trying to do in the early days is give the tools to the people managing these websites and developing the code so they can avoid getting hit by hackers, essentially finding the vulnerabilities first before the bad guys do. I think today web application security is very difficult because web applications are so complex. In the old days, a web application was pretty much just straight HTML. But today, there are so many different technologies that are glued together with custom code many times. There's Ajax, there's PHP, there's built on Apache or Microsoft IIS. There's just so many combinations, almost limitless combinations on how you can meld everything together. And then there's the custom code that's developed. There's so many possible ways that a vulnerability can sneak in. And one of the biggest vulnerabilities that we see is SQL injection. And it's a term that's thrown around a lot, but essentially SQL injection leads to a lot of data loss and data leakage on websites. And all it requires is a hacker using his web browser to enter in some characters that the website is not going to interpret correctly, and it essentially will be able to allow the attacker to get the entire contents of a database behind the website. So credit card numbers, other financial information, medical records, this is how a lot of data loss is occurring today. And unfortunately, these vulnerabilities are so widespread all across just business applications. I think first and foremost, in order to avoid web application vulnerabilities, it's important to look at the source code itself. There are tools that you can use to go through the source code automatically, but that'll only get you so far. What you can also do is test your website from the outside. It's called black box testing. Essentially, you have this black box and you're just throwing traffic at it to see if you can uncover vulnerability. And so there are web application scanners. TippingPoint actually has a service where we scan your website, uncover vulnerabilities, and actually protect you against those vulnerabilities by writing custom signatures. And now this web app DB service is important because it offers the protection as well. There are also web application firewalls that many financial regulators recommend. The problem with web application firewalls is that they have many false positives for custom applications. They're very good at detecting vulnerabilities across a broad spectrum, but again, as I mentioned, all of these web applications are very custom, and so there's potential for blocking real legitimate traffic, and it requires a lot of tuning sometimes. I think it's important for the IT managers to understand more about web application security, so free tools and sites like OWASP.org is a good place to start. Understanding what the possibilities are, understanding just what types of attacks like SQL injection, PHP file includes, cross-site scripting. Many of these attacks are still not commonly understood by those IT managers. Second, there are pretty reasonable security scanning tools that they can buy. There are some free ones, but the web application scanning tools are also pretty reasonable for small sites. I think intrusion prevention is a great way to prevent many of the types of attacks that we're seeing today.